Coach Bonnie here. This is a yoga video, about 20 minutes long for back sides of the legs. We're going to focus on the lower part of the legs, the calf muscles, the soleus. We're going to warm up a little bit at the top of the mat. So standing at the top on the mat, you just kind of rock around a little bit. Okay? Just nice and easy. Get the kinks worked out a little bit. And then feet spread apart a little bit with your toes lifted. Kind of bend down. Feel like you're sticking your sit bones out, bringing the heart forward. And find the hamstrings, but make sure it's still in the hamstring. It's not in the back of the knee. Kind of bring your heart down. Keep the back flat. We're trying to keep the back out of the stretch. You don't want your back rounded. That means that you're just going too far down, so kind of lift it up. We're staying with the hamstrings. Okay. If you have the room to come all the way down, here you go. Okay, and then coming up. So continuing with a little bit of the warm-up. Exhaling, round out your back. Inhale. So this is kind of cat-cow while you're standing up. Moving with your breath. Exhaling, round the back. Inhaling, pull the heart forward. Exhaling, round the back. One more time, inhale, pull the heart forward, and coming up. Okay. So focusing on the back sides of the leg, downward facing dog is always a good option. So let's go ahead and move to that. Just travel to the downward facing dog. And then with your feet, go ahead and pedal your feet back and forth, kind of walking the dog. I like to pause, push into my palms, trying to get the back straight, lifting the sit bones up, and focus on one leg at a time. I roll my hips around a little bit to see what part of the back of my leg is tight. So I'm experiencing foot stretching, lower part. Okay, and then switching to the opposite foot. And noticing if one is tighter than the other is kind of an interesting point. Okay, and then let's go ahead and walk your feet to the top of your mat. And inhaling all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. So let's move to downward facing dog again. And this time, inhaling the right foot straight up. So trying to keep the leg straight, pushing the palms into the mat. Okay? And allowing that left heel to sink down. You can bend the knee slightly and try to push the heel down. And you'll notice that the stretch goes down further down your leg. And then forward to plank. And then downward facing dog. And then lifting up the left foot, keeping that leg straight and focusing on the right heel coming down. Maybe bending the right knee. And then bring that down. Stepping to the top of your mat. Inhaling all the way up. And resting. So we're going to move to pyramid pose. Go ahead and start with your right foot forward. Left foot steps back. Notice that that left foot is mostly forward. Hips are forward. Let's just go ahead and keep our hands on our hips. We're going to focus on the legs. So in pyramid pose, this front leg is straight. Slightly bent because my leg is working. All the toes are lifted. And I want you to take a moment to focus on pressing the left heel down. So you're going to use your entire back leg to press the left heel down. Keeping that action, let's exhale and come forward just a little bit. Inhaling up, always pressing that back heel down. Don't forget about it. And exhaling down. Even when you're exhaling down, press the back heel down. And inhale up. Exhaling down. Inhale up. One more time, exhaling down. Inhale up. And then go ahead, step forward. Shake it a little bit. And then switch to the left foot forward, the right foot steps back. Keeping the hips forward. Think for a second, press the right heel down. Toes are lifted. And exhaling forward. Inhaling up. Exhale forward. Inhaling up. Exhaling forward. Inhale up. And one more time, remember, pressing that back heel down. Exhale forward. Inhale up. Step to the top of the mat. Shake the hips around a little bit. Good job. So let's think about the back sides of our legs again. I want you to, we're going to do pyramid pose again. So with the right foot forward and the left foot steps back. This step back is fairly short. Okay, it's only like a leg's length. So what I want you to do is hands on the hip. I want you to practice pressing that heel down and then bending the knee. And do both of those actions at the same time. You should feel quite a bit of work right here. So continuing to press the back heel down, bend the knee. Okay. So my leg has kind of, it's still really working and it's kind of half bent. I'm really focusing on that back leg, pressing the back heel down and actively bending the knee. It's a lot of work. Okay, and then go ahead and step up, and it might be helpful to shake out the leg, the peroneals on the outside, posterior side. The muscles might be complaining a little bit. So with the left foot forward, right foot steps back. Remember the toes are all forward. Okay, hands on the hips, hips straight forward. Press the left heel down, and then bend the right knee. And do those two actions at the same time. The outside of your leg should be working. It might be burning. And if it is, or if your ankle is crunchy, go ahead and stop. Okay? If you're still with me, pressing the back heel down, bend the knee, and then step forward and shake the foot out. Okay, so that's good stuff. Downward facing dog, pyramid pose, really good for stretching the back sides of the calves, soleus. Another one that's really good is Garland pose. So let's start out with our feet pointed out. Our knees are going to go that same way too. Maybe mat wide. Now, if you have cranky knees or really tight quads, this one's going to be hard and you're going to like stop here. If you have the ability, kind of mat width wide, come down and allow yourself to sink down. Okay, so my heels are on the ground. I'm getting a little bit of a back stretch, which is awesome. Inner thigh stretch. But for many of you, you're going to experience a lot of stretching in the backs of your legs. Okay, a different option would be to have the feet closer together. And here. And stretching out the back sides of the legs, you're going to want to encourage the heels to come down to the ground. And let's go ahead and stand up. If you have a yoga block or a step, you want to get that now. So with your yoga block, a really good way to stretch the back side of the leg, and doing this on a wall is awesome too. It takes a lot of the work out of it, is to put all the balls of your feet on there and stand on the block and just allow the heel to sink down and wait for like a minute. And you'll notice that eventually the calves kind of loosen up. So doing this with a yoga block, a cork block or a really hard block would be useful. This is kind of a spongier block, so it's kind of hard to do because it rolls around a little bit. This is another really good way to get some stretching on the bottom side of the foot instead of using the pinky ball. Just stretching the bottom side of the feet out as well. So let's go ahead and switch feet. So standing on your yoga block and then allowing the heel to drop down. You're trying to relax that heel, so that's why the wall or a chair helps. And another couple of breaths here. Stretching the feet, allowing the feet to relax. Back sides of the leg. So here you could bend your knee as well. If you're on a step, that would be really good. So really bending the knee, allowing the heel to drop down, and then you'll feel this all come down to the soleus. So standing at the top of the mat, let's move back to downward facing dog again. So downward facing dog, the hands are very strong. You're pressing through the palms, trying to get the back straight, pressing the ribs towards your thighs. And let's walk the feet back and forth again. And one more time, focusing on the right heel down. Let the left foot kind of just be lazy a little bit. Really focus on that left heel. And then again with the slight bend of the knee, will help you to bring the stretch down. If you stay there a little bit longer, down towards your heel. And then switching feet. Okay, and then go ahead and step to the top of the mat. And inhaling up, and shake, 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 shake. One more stretch. Let's go ahead and do seated. Okay, and this pose that we have done before, head to knee pose, go ahead and bring your right foot in. It doesn't matter exactly where it's at, it can stay at the knee. If you need a strap because you can't reach your feet, that's okay. Or just put your hands here, okay? I paused for a moment because I'm like, oh, that hamstring is really tight, which was a surprise. And that's why I kind of slowed down and thought about it for a second. This is a really good pose to stretch the hamstring if you want, but you can also get into the back side of the calf by flexing. So my knee is quite bent a lot. You can do this with the strap by pulling this down. And I'm pulling my foot towards my knee. I'm relaxing things. See how bent my knee is? Quite bent. I'm not even stretching my hamstring at this point anymore. But I'm pulling that foot back and then pressing down just a little bit with my knee. And I feel quite a big of stretch. And so this is where this comes in beneficial, because you can sit here and you can hold this for quite a while without taxing other parts of the body. If you're to hold it for a minute, you'll feel that the stretch goes down towards your heel a little bit more, which is where we want it. Okay, go ahead and release, and let's switch legs. Bringing the left foot in towards the knee a little bit. This foot is active. Grab your strap or your toes. I'm bending my knee a little bit more than I would to take it out of the hamstring. I'm focusing on the calf and really pulling my foot back. And then as I have this max stretch, and I've been sitting here for a moment, then I will add a little bit more of straightening of the knee, which will intensify the stretch down by the soleus. So you find a spot that you can stay at for a minute. Staying there longer helps the muscle to relax, helps the fascial tissue to stretch. You'll notice that the stretch changes as you go on, so maybe you straighten your knee some more, or you move your foot just a little bit. So there's a couple of stretches for your back sides of your legs. Hope you enjoy it. Have a great day.